the new norm. Welcome to Royce Airs episode 5 with Miss Vanja Grbic as we talk about Vanya's vegan voyage. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome. It's a beautiful Friday. I hope you all are getting your paychecks and not spending too much money frivolously, because you know that the end of the month is here and that rent is due and any other bills that you may have, they're going to go ahead and take that on away from you. So other than that, I didn't mean to shower such negativity on you today. We're here with Miss Vanja. Miss Vanja, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I am glad you are here. Nice smile. I see we got the memo today with the green and the red. We're doing that because guess what? Maybe not here, but somewhere in the world, it's probably Christmas. So we went ahead and started celebrating early. You can send us some money directly to kind of fund our presents. It'd be really, really nice. Hey,
yes.
I'm really glad
I'm down with that.
Maybe you might want to tell them your your information so they can drop some money into your account.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. PayPal, GoFundMe, all that good stuff.
Y'all can also GoFund me as well too. It is the end of the month, and I am needing that little bit of extra. So, anyways, really glad to have you here on the show with us today. Miss Vanja, before we get started, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Vanja, we're going to play a little game so we can get to know who you are.
Okay.
This game is called This or That. All you have to do is pick literally this or that. I'm going to give you a few questions. Answer them as quickly as you can, okay?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Nothing in between, okay?
All right, perfect.
Here we go. I'm pulling them up right now. 60 seconds on the clock. There is no clock. I just like saying that. I thought it'd be cool.
He's just trying to give me pressure. That's what's happening right now.
Pressure. Pineapple or watermelon?
Watermelon.
Yes. Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Correct. Being loved or being respected?
Both. Why do I have to choose?
You only can pick one for this. It's this or that.
Respected.
Respected. Oh yes, that's
Girl
the masculine
power.
answer. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, all the way. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a dog person.
Do you know how high maintenance a dog actually is?
Yeah, listen. The dog I had was smaller than the majority of the cats, so she was 5 pounds. Many cats are fatter than that.
Vanja, I really liked where this or that was going until you said that, but that's okay. We're still going to keep going.
Listen, we'll still be friends after this.
We'll still be friends. It depends on how the rest of this actually goes.
All right, fine.
North of the U.S. or south of the U.S.?
South.
Classic or rock music?
Rock.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Okay, you kind of redeemed yourself there. Tesla or Edison?
Tesla. Don't get me started on the whole Edison saga. Ugh. Okay, Serenity now.
A lot of people don't know about the whole Tesla side of history.
Listen,
so.
I am from Bosnia. Tesla's my man. That's where he's from. So.
From Bosnia.
Yeah.
Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Roses or sunflowers?
Roses.
Would you rather visit Niagara Falls or go skydiving?
Skydiving.
Jury duty or I-4 traffic?
I for traffic.
Yeah, at least you can listen to your music on
Correct.
I-4.
And you can yak on a phone, so.
Being vegan or destroy the planet?
Is that seriously a question?
That is the one.
Let me take a moment to think about that. Being vegan.
Being vegan. I'm glad you picked that one because not everybody picks that one.
Yeah, that's the problem with today's society.
And that's why we're going to help it out.
Yes.
We're here to help be the solution, kind of show
Correct.
people how easy it really is. How long have you been vegan? How did your vegan journey start, Vanja?
6 years.
6 years you've been
prior
vegan.
to that, a vegetarian for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 14 years total on
no meat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But where do you get your protein?
I mean, I have a suit on, so I can't show you my guns. I got some guns, baby.
Vanja has some serious guns. It's impressive. I wouldn't mess with her.
No.
But so 8 years vegetarian, then you went 6 years vegan.
Uh-huh.
What made you want to do the transition?
So let me back up first and tell you how I got into the vegetarianism to begin with. So I come from a culture that is all meat eating. We eat meat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and if we could, we would stuff it in dessert as well, okay? And in our drinks. I mean, meat is in everything. It is disgusting. It's any celebration or any funeral or sad event, anything of any importance is celebrated with the death of an animal, right?
You know that the irony of going to the funeral to, give reverence to somebody who just passed, but now you're just
correct.
Like, all right, and now
it just makes it's cognitive dissonance across the board.
My favorite term to describe for people, yes.
Yeah, terrible. So anyway, so my sister turned vegetarian, and for my family, that was a huge shock because we have never known anybody who was a vegetarian before, and coming from our culture, that is super weird.
Yes.
So my mom actually even took my sister to a doctor because she wanted the doctor to tell my sister that she's gonna die if she continues doing this.
We've had stories like that in my family. One of my youngest cousins, she never ate meat until we kind of kept forcing it on her and kept always putting it in her face, and then finally she broke. Right as she broke, I became vegan. So I was like,
did you save her?
I tried. I am working on it. I'm hoping that she'll see enough
you
awesome
have to
people.
See the light. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So, the doctor, when my mom came into the office with my sister, was like, no, this is actually a good thing she's doing. So that was, face.
The foot in the mouth syndrome.
In my mom's face, right? So we had family interventions to try to bring my sister back to normal. And then she made some very good points in a process that kind of made me think. And, I never thought about it in such a way because I was raised to think that eating meat is what you do and you don't question it. Even my grandparents had a farm where they raised their own animals and they slaughtered them, and I witnessed all of that, and I was terribly sad, and I had many of my friend animals that were slaughtered for dinner, and I just never thought that there could be a way around this, that this did not have to be the way we live. And, so I went to Switzerland, and in Switzerland, we ate so much meat, and it was processed and disgusting, and they called meat Fleisch over there, so it sounded like flesh, and it really grossed me out. So the combination of my sister making these amazing points of why we should not be eating animals, and then just overeating meat so much to the point that it got me disgusted, and then hearing that word over and over again when I came back from the vacation, I said, well, let me do like a week and see how I feel, right? So I didn't think I was going to last more than that because in my mind, it was impossible.
That's what everybody says.
Exactly. It would be too difficult.
Yes. I don't know how you're doing that.
I just don't know, right?
I promise you.
It's doable.
Yeah, if I can do it, then anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody.
I come from such a difficult background, so yeah. So anyways, I came back, and in the first 10 days, I lost 10 pounds. And I gained so much energy. I felt so much better because sometimes after you eat meat, you get that disgusting heavy feeling in your stomach and you just want to take a nap.
And you just want to go to sleep. They call it the itis. Yeah,
correct.
You just go to sleep.
And that didn't happen. And everybody was telling me that I was glowing and my skin cleared up.
Wow.
And, I have never looked back. So that was my turning to a vegetarian journey, and that lasted for 8 years. And it was, a lot of people think it's difficult. It's not. All you really have to do is just be a little bit more cognizant about choosing your food, about when you eat out in a restaurant, just make sure that you read all the ingredients on the menu, and it is not difficult at all.
That is all it is. I saw a meme the other day that said, what your family thinks you do as a vegan, what society thinks you do, but then what you actually do, and it had the guy just reading a back of a cereal box. Like, that's literally all it is.
But you learn how to fast read it. You just look for the allergens on the bottom. You don't have to read through the whole list.
Sometimes I have found some where, it won't mention, but it'll just have like honey there.
And I've seen some people that label that as vegan, and that makes me upset because I'm a level 5 vegan. I don't eat anything that casts a shadow, and honey is not vegan.
That's what there's a coin. It's not really, it's consummate vegan is what I like to describe us type of vegans. The ones who know about the environmental issues, the ones who know about the animal slaughter, the health benefits, and just knowing, the spirituality, the inside, just getting better. That's, all the different facets of being a vegan. Yes. Correct. Level 5. That sounds cool. Level 5,
yeah. I mean, if you ever watch Simpsons, Lisa falls in love with this guy who, goes to jail for his beliefs for protesting, saving the earth. And she goes to visit him in jail, and he goes, Lisa, I'm a level 5 vegan. And that's where I stole that from. So
well, thank you, Simpsons.
Absolutely. Lisa's my hero. So then I thought that I was doing a great thing by being vegetarian. I thought that there was no harm in eating eggs and eating the dairy. And boy, was I wrong. So Forks Over Knives came out, and I just then started going on this documentary binge. And I was watching one after another, and my eyes were completely open to the cruelty of those industries that I never knew about. I mean, I thought, hey, a hen is going to lay an egg one way or the other. What's the harm in me eating it? But I didn't know that these hens are, stuffed in cages, that they cannot move, that they become completely, that their limbs are completely just changed from the way that they're living. They cannot even straighten up. They cannot stand up from being so genetically modified. And then the worst thing that just blew my mind that humans are capable of is that live male chicks are ground up alive or buried alive
immediately
because they don't have any value in the industry. They would just cost money. And people don't know when they buy their chicken, it's all female chicken because males do not get to grow up.
Wow.
Okay? And that is, I just get chills just thinking about it. And even something that people go like, oh, well, I buy cage-free chicken, so I'm okay. Well, let me tell you something. That is a marketing strategy that is all lies. And, all they have to do is just not have chickens in cages in order to get that label.
And it's technically cage-free.
Correct.
So you just have them.
You think they're like, free-range chickens. They're not,
still
because
in the building.
They're still so squished together that they literally cannot breathe. And the people who, work there in the morning, every morning, go through and they pick up the dead ones because they were suffocated. Because they have no place to just get their head up to breathe. And there's so much ammonia in the air, and just and they're feeding them antibiotics because they're just living in such horrible conditions, and then you're eating that, So you might think that there is no cruelty in an egg, but there is absolutely so much cruelty associated with it that I just could no longer contribute my money to such level of animal suffering. And then when you look at the dairy, oh my God. I think my sister was actually the one who said this to me first. There's more cruelty in a glass of milk than there is in a piece of steak.
Wow. True story.
Yes.
Very true story. Because you get the rape and the murder and, the separation from the parents.
Right.
With it.
Yeah. First of all, cows are raped, okay? And then they keep raping them until they no longer can produce, and then they're killed because they're not,
Wow.
So, when you think about when you go buy milk, you don't think about that in order for that milk to be there, cow has to be pregnant and it has to give birth, and then that baby cannot drink that milk so you can have it.
Yep.
And that is so cruel, So you separate the baby pretty much at birth. And then if it's a male, usually what they do is they're going to tie it down with chains so it can never stand up. And it lives on feces and urine. And they give it substitute food that makes them anemic. So when you go to a 5-star restaurant upscale and the waiter goes, may I tell you our specials for the day? And they say, our special is veal, and it's so tender you can cut it with a fork. I want to punch him in the face because then I want to follow that up with, well, do you know why it's so tender that you can cut it with a fork? It's because that poor animal was stolen from his mother the second it was born, and it was tied down onto the floor and never was able to stand up. So their muscle fibers were never used.
Wow. I never thought about it that way.
Yes. Yes. So, if you like eating veal, you're a terrible person. No way around it. I'm
wow, Vanja, the passion. Wow.
Yeah.
But it's the truth.
It is the truth, and it's so easy to become a disassociated consumer. You have this tasty piece of food on your plate, and you're enjoying the smell and the taste and what the presentation, the sight of it, but you don't know the journey it had to take in order to make it to your plate. And if it is meat, if it is cheese, if it is egg, it was a path of cruelty, of death, of rape and violence. And if you pay for that, you're contributing to it. You're paying somebody else to do those terrible things to the animal in your name.
That's what I try to explain to people whenever they ask, or whenever they say, well, I'm not the one doing it. Yes, you are. If I hired a hitman to kill you and things went awry in the court of law, I'm the one at fault.
Correct.
Because I paid for him.
Because you supply the demand.
Yes.
If there's no demand, these things would not go on. Because money is what makes the world go around, right? So your dollar is so powerful, and you send a message every time you buy something. You send a message to the producers of the food. What are you willing to pay for?
Exactly.
And if you're no longer willing to pay for torture and murder and rape, it's going to send a message that it's not going to be monetarily, making any more sense, and they're going to stop. I mean, I've heard of so many cases where dairy farmers have actually turned their farms into sanctuaries.
Yeah.
And and you can, it can totally be done. And when you take your money and you put it towards something good, it makes our planet such a better place.
That's what I try to let people know as well. I'm not going to make a difference. I promise you, you will.
You are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Okay, think about this. How much power every single person has. But if somebody tells me, how am I going to make a difference? Every time you eat, and you eat at least 3 times a day, you can save a life.
Yeah.
Do you know how powerful that is? That you as a person, every time you eat, you can save a life. That gives you so much power that, I can't even imagine. So think about it. You're eating maybe 3 to 5 meals a day. Let's say for a week, you don't eat meat. How many lives have you saved in 1 week? And then if you get your brother to do it, your sister to do it, your friend to do it,
exactly.
Think about the chain effect that you could have on how many lives can be saved. It is so powerful.
Let me ask you this. Your sister went vegan. You're vegan. How's the rest of your immediate family?
So, I can say that I've been very successful with the rest of my family. My mom has been awesome. My mom has been eating a lot of plant-based. She's not 100% vegan, but she's slowly getting there. My dad, on the other hand, he's... And my dad is a cardiac patient, so
this could benefit him tremendously.
Yeah, so this is really, really, it really it bothers me because for breakfast he'll do bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
Gross. And I tell him Dad, what are you doing? And he goes, well, what's the point of life if I can't have this? And I'm like, how about living?
Sounds like a lot of my family. I'm in the same boat. There's not too many other family members that I have that are vegan. I have a much better chance at just talking to new acquaintances.
Strangers.
Exactly.
Isn't that terrible?
They look at me and they're like, wow, you know what? I think I'm going to give this vegan thing a try. I've helped so many other people transition into the vegan lifestyle, but I have some cousins who are, they dabble with the idea. They flirt with it. They're on it sometimes and then they fall off. But
so here's what I say. Your success is going to depend so much on why you're doing it. If you're doing it for the health reason, you're going to fall off the bandwagon because just like when you're on a diet, you have a cheat day, right? So if you're doing this for health reasons, you're gonna fall off.
Yeah.
But if your reasoning is to do it for ethical reasons, then no matter how tasty, which like makes me want to gag, how tasty a piece of steak looks on your plate, you're never going to be tempted because you're going to see that as a piece of somebody's body. It's dead flesh that was tortured, and now it's on your plate. It's not gonna be appealing to you. But if you're doing it for health reasons, I can definitely see how you could fall off.
Yeah. Whenever people, I almost use the health reasons as a selling point to them because I want them to just kind of go ahead and come on the team.
Yeah.
Later,
you
know,
develop
I'll start
a consciousness.
That's exactly what happened to me. I started it off, for personal reasons, for just spiritual growth. And after a while, I felt the success. It was going really well. But I wasn't really sure if it was the right thing to do, honestly. Yeah. But then people started teaching me about the different slaughterhouses. They started teaching me about, the environment and the health reasons. So whenever I got all of those together, I was like, oh, I really can't go wrong then. So this is, and then it started making more sense. Like, wow, this is why people are trying to get them on, everyone on board.
Yes.
It just, especially with, our population of the world being at 7 billion right now, if we want to be sustainable, I don't want to explain to my grandchildren, like, well, this once was a great place to live, but sorry that we messed it up and that we couldn't clean up.
And also, don't have too many kids, because that's another problem.
Yes. And especially if they're going to be eating things that are going to take up so many resources per.
So I have family back home in Bosnia, and when I went to visit, I got ridiculed quite a lot, and I had to sit there and literally explain myself for 2 hours. How are you not dying? How are you living? Why do you have to do that? I'm like, all of you, have health issues, and here I am just, keeping my money to myself because I'm not paying it to doctors.
Exactly.
So, when people say veganism expensive, I would
rewind. No.
I look at it as that you have one body, and your body's your temple, and I cannot take this body and bring it to a store and say, hey, I didn't like it, can I get another one? True. Doesn't work like that. So I'm gonna invest whatever I can in feeding it healthy things to make sure I don't get sick later. And what's really funny? Sometimes I get a cold or whatever, and people immediately go, it's because you're vegan.
Oh, immediately.
Yes. And then I say, well, okay, if eating meat was the answer, then all the hospitals should be empty, right? And then crickets.
That's
because majority of people eat meat and they eat animal products. So if that was so healthy, why do we have overpopulated hospitals?
Exactly.
Just explain that to me. I don't know.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, I was on your website and saw Vanya's Vegan Challenge.
Yes.
Vanya's Vegan Voyage.
Yes.
Vegan Voyage.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So the way I started is I started with a YouTube channel. So I travel a lot for work and for pleasure. So I've been to like 41 countries at this point.
Wow. Wow. I can't wait to get on your level.
Yeah. I traveled quite cheaply, but yes.
Still, 41 countries?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, I started encountering all these cool places and the coolest places, right? Like vegan restaurants. And I'm like, people don't know about this. And I wanted to share, and I didn't know how to do it. I wanted to create a website or something. So I started with a YouTube channel where I started reviewing all these restaurants and places that I was going. And that was great. And then I took it a step further. I actually started sharing vegan recipes because people think that vegan food is difficult to make. And, I made something like, and this is so cool. It's like avocado chocolate mousse that you make in 2 minutes. So, I'm out there trying to break the stereotypes that being vegan is difficult and expensive and time-consuming.
Avocado chocolate mousse.
Think about that.
That just really dawned on me. That would be, the texture would be amazing. Man, you should have brought some today. We could have had it right here.
I'm sorry.
Constant. We have to start telling people to bring
whatever they're talking about.
Yeah, some food.
Yeah, so I made that in 2 minutes, and I wanted to share that with people, and you won't believe how many people messaged me after that they try to make it and that they love it, because when you think about avocado chocolate mousse, it kind of sounds weird, doesn't it?
Kind of initially, but if you really think about it,
it is like you get the healthy fat, and it's like a dessert that is good for you. And
have you had any chocolate hummus yet?
No, but I heard about it.
Oh, they have it at Publix. It's so good.
Yeah, well, I'm about to go there.
Yeah.
So and then I also wanted to see how other people perceive veganism, and I started interviewing them in different events. So I went to Savage Race and I smoked everybody. I was in like 0.03% of my age group.
Wow.
I was in top 1% of women and top 10% overall.
Wow.
So vegan power without really training. Savage Race is a I think it was 7 miles. 7 miles, 25 obstacles, mud race.
Wow.
I smoked everybody, right? So at the end, with my little medal, I was interviewing people. I'm like, so what do you guys think about veganism? And people would usually say like, no, you couldn't do things like this. And then when I would tell them my results, they'll be like, oh, well, I stand corrected.
That's best whenever they just go ahead and admit it.
Yes.
Rather than fight against it.
Yeah. So, I love breaking that stereotype that vegans are pale and weak and blah, blah, blah. Like,
there's so
I
many
have so
beautiful,
many
strong
gains,
vegans.
And I'm sorry, it's all based on, plant power. So, So I'm interviewing people everywhere I go. I just went to a music festival down in it's like a dance festival down in Miami, and it was a pool party. I interviewed everybody at the pool party, and I feel like every time I do that, I change people's minds. If nothing else, I get them to start thinking about
exactly planting the seed.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
what I always try to stress to other vegans, because they can be very, dominant about it. Just you got to do it today. You got to do it today.
Do it. But I feel like the more the little planting the bug in somebody's ear, the better it is, because over time, they're gonna start thinking about it, and something is gonna happen, right?
Exactly.
So I also wanted to create something that people could take and implement it and try the vegan lifestyle without all the fear. Because it could be very daunting for somebody who's looking into the vegan lifestyle. They wouldn't even know where to start.
Yes.
Right? So, I was not fortunate enough to have somebody holding my hand, but I want to be that hand holder for somebody who wants to try to dabble in it now. So I started with a challenge to myself for 1 week. And as I said, I never looked back after those 10 days. So I created a 1 week vegan challenge where I developed a grocery shopping list. So that's number one. So
that's important.
So you know what to pick up at the store, because now you're gonna have to shop a little differently. But I made it so that majority of the things on the list you should already have in your pantry.
True.
Just make a few adjustments. And then another complaint: veganism is very expensive. Well, I picked very cheap things, so it's not gonna put a big dent in your bank account.
I'm going to refer people to that website so they can see.
Yes.
For sure, because we host a little thing called Vegan Life 101, where we help new vegans, or people who are veg curious, we like to call them.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And they kind of come over and, we'll just kind of talk to them, almost like a vegan AA group for those who are...
That's perfect.
Stuck
Hello,
on the
my
cheese.
name is Vanja.
Hi, Vanja. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Awesome.
We do it once a month, so that way, just to kind of bring people out and let them know.
That would be awesome.
I will. And that'll make my job a lot easier, because I'm not
already
really the
did
nutrition vegan.
I already did
it.
So, and then, so after you have your grocery list, now you know what to get at the store. Now I created a whole meal plan for the week. So we have breakfast, lunch, dinner with snacks. And I try to vary it up. So, you could do your own mixture. If you like something more than the other thing, you can do more of something, less of the other thing. And then I created recipes for everything. And usually it's like 15 to 20 minutes or under of prep time. So it's not going to, be very time consuming either. So it's like what I call it, vegan for dummies. So it's super, super easy. And, if you just follow the plan for a week, you get your feet wet, and then hopefully you're going to love it just as much as I did, and stick with it.
Tell them, Vanja. You know what else you have to tell them as well, too?
How to find me.
How to find you. This has been a really fun, really interactive 30 minutes, but I told you that the time was going to fly by.
Yes.
Is there any final words that you want to tell them in like 30 seconds or less?
Yes, definitely go vegan for yourself, for your health, for your family, for the animals, and for the environment. And I promise you will never look back, and you will be so much happier for it. And if you're interested in taking my challenge, check me out on any of the social media. It's Vanja's Vegan Voyage, and that's Vanja. Vanya's Vegan Voyage, both YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and then I also have vanyasveganvoyage.com where you can just enter your email address, and once I get your email address, I will email you the 1 week challenge so that you can follow the plan and see how well it goes for you.
That is it, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed our show here today on Royce Airs. It's always been fun. We have flyers. That is a very professional looking flyer. I like it. Vanya, before we close out, I was hoping that you could do that little thing with me one more time.
Yes, let's do it.
Can I get a hello? There. See you, everybody.
Thank you.